Are you tired of the feast or famine cycle of client work? That feeling where your income is directly chained to the number of hours you and your team can physically perform is the classic freelancer's trap. You sell a project, you work yourself to the bone, and the second it's done, you're back to square one, hunting for the next client. It's an endless, exhausting treadmill. But what if you could build a system, a machine that generates predictable, scalable revenue every single month, whether you're at your desk or doing something else? That's not a fantasy. It's the power of productization. It's the single biggest shift you can make to escape the time for money trap and build a real sellable business. So for the last decade, I've worked with and analyzed over 700 six and seven figure agencies. I've seen firsthand what separates the ones that stall out from the ones that scale to incredible heights. And let me tell you, the secret isn't working very, very hard all the time as the founder for the entire duration of the business. In the beginning, sure, but later on becomes less and less important. It's building smarter systems around high-value, repeatable services. It's about turning your expertise from a service into a product without having to go all in on building a SaaS, for example, because that's like a whole different level. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 most profitable productized services for 2025. These are the areas where demand is exploding and the potential for high margins is off the charts compared to normal agencies. For each one, I'll show you exactly why it's a gold mine right now, and I'll show you exactly why it's a really good idea to get into these industries right now if you're running an agency. And I'll give you a concrete step-by-step framework to package and sell it yourself, a product like that, a productized service. So the biggest productized service opportunity right now is AI. You kind of already knew that, didn't you? But right now, the numbers are a little bit staggering. The global AI market is projected to surge past $757 billion in 2025, growing at a compound annual rate of over 19%. Overall, 83% of companies now report that AI is a top priority in their business plans. They know they need it to survive and compete because everyone's kind of in on it. There's a problem out there, and the problem creates an opportunity for you. Most businesses are completely overwhelmed. They hear AI and they picture a multi-million-dollar, multi-year project with a team of PhDs that hand build some kind of algorithm or whatever people might think AI is. They're paralyzed by the complexity and the cost. This creates a massive profitable gap for experts who can stop selling abstract AI and start delivering a specific AI solution to a specific business problem. Don't just take my word for it. Let me show you what this looks like in the real world. So I work with a lot of small agencies, but some of the agencies I work with are kind of, up there. They make millions of dollars a year. So one of the agencies I work with, they implemented a simple targeted AI-powered app that basically they used existing technology from Microsoft Azure to automatically summarize calls for them. The result, the app saves their team about 4 minutes per call. If you have dozens of calls that come in that you need to, qualify and stuff like that, you need to make sure that you understood things correctly, that the call was done properly, and so on. So it ends up being a lot of time spent by highly paid salespeople that are qualifying leads, setting calls, and so on. So if you have all these calls for yourself or for a client that need to be vetted, that need to be checked for accuracy, that need to be checked for, is this salesperson performing the sales call properly? That's the equivalent of many, many work days that are being spent every single month by a team of people that are expensive. So they adjusted existing technology and existing AI that checks calls for them, and it saves way more time than the money that they spend on the tool. And the tool, it's using existing technology, so they didn't have to spend weeks and weeks building it. So how do you productize this to offer it for clients? So you stop selling AI consulting and start selling a product with a fixed scope and clear price tag. You become the person who delivers a result, not just hours of work. Here are 2 ways to package this. The AI efficiency audit. This is a perfect foot in the door offer for a fixed fee, say $5,000. You perform an audit of their sales calls and their customer support tickets and their report generation. Then you deliver a tangible blueprint showing exactly where an existing AI tool can save them time, money, complete with projected ROI. You're selling clarity and a strategic plan that has a clear ROI. The custom chatbot package. So this is a one-time setup plus ongoing support model. You charge, for example, $10,000 as a setup fee to implement a pre-trained AI chatbot on their website to handle 80% of common customer queries. And if you go to most websites these days of bigger companies, they have a chatbot. Most of these chatbots are not very good, so it's very easy to stand out by making something better. Then you charge $500 per month as a retainer for maintenance. That's like lowballing it, by the way. And then you charge another $1,000 per month for optimization, because these things shouldn't be static, because information changes, answers to questions change, and you could make it better over time. You're not building a new GPT, you're leveraging powerful existing platforms like OpenAI or Google, and you integrate them to solve a clear business problem, reducing support overhead and improving customer response times. But here's where it gets kind of interesting as a business model. AI isn't just like a service you can sell, it's a foundational layer that makes all other services more profitable in a client's business. So the same AI that can 10x the output of a software engineer can be used internally in your own agency to streamline your web development, your content creation, and your media buying. By adopting AI as an internal tool, you can drastically cut your own delivery time, which means your profit margins on every other productized service you offer go through the roof. So it's a force multiplier. It's a profit multiplier as well for your entire business. So let's talk about a different service for people who want to do something totally different. So custom web development. So with so many cheap website builders out there, you might think the market is just dead. But I'm going to show you why it's more profitable than ever. In fact, for the right kind of project, some agencies are seeing a staggering return. They have 70-80% profit margin for, they pay a developer to build a website and the profit margin is really, really good. And then they upsell CRO. The secret isn't building cheap websites in WordPress. It's positioning yourself at the high end of the market and building revenue generating machines for companies. So one of the agencies I work for, the owner, she does basically websites for bigger organizations like football teams and stuff like that. The commoditization of basic websites builders like Wix and Squarespace has actually done us a favor. It killed the middle of the market and to some extent the low end of the market, but it has made high-end custom development more valuable. Websites that look different have different branding because most of those types of websites look very similar. As businesses grow, they hit a ceiling with templates and looking like every other website, looking like every other company, and they need a custom solution to get to the next level as they don't want to be associated with lower tier of the offering, So they are willing to pay a premium for it. It's like people don't buy normal watches anymore, they buy premium watches these days. The watch market has skyrocketed even though you don't really need a watch anymore. While the number of agencies offering general web design has seen somewhat of a decline because of all the platforms out there that kind of do it for you, the project values for top agencies are going up for some industries, with average projects ranging from $25 to $100K. So let me tell you about a different client that I work with at different agencies. They were an e-commerce business with a decent website making about $300K a month in sales. They decided to invest heavily, $150K, in a fully custom top-of-the-line e-commerce platform. Now that sounds like a huge risk, right? For e-com, that like they don't have big profit margins. How can they afford that? It wasn't that big of a company. Well, the very next month after launching the new website, their sales jumped from $300K to $1.2 million, a 4x increase in a single month. So the growth continued from there. They didn't just buy a prettier website. They bought a custom built system with superior user experience, just easier to buy, easier to upsell, and so on. Streamlined checkout, advanced functionalities that converted visitors into customers at a much higher rate. So that's kind of the power of moving beyond templates and what everyone else does. And you can't sell a $150K project with a vague proposal. You have to productize it. You have to make it so that delivery is silky smooth. You do this by creating clear value-based packages where you're not selling pages and plugins, you're selling business outcomes. By packaging your service this way, you make a high-ticket item feel less risky and easier to buy. The client sees a clear path and understands exactly what they're getting for the money they're paying. You're no longer a freelance coder or selling them developer hours from your team. You're a strategic partner selling them growth. Once a client has a good website, the next logical question is, where does their audience spend most of their time? In 2025, 88% of all mobile time is spent on apps, not in the browser. Yet most businesses see app development as impossibly expensive, and let's just not even try. The average cost can range from $5,000 for something simple to over $250K for a more complex build. And this is a fear that a lot of business owners have, that it'll take forever and cost $1 million or whatever. It's a big fear, and it represents an untapped market, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Like, we're in 2025 and some businesses who could benefit from a mobile app still don't have it. It's kind of nuts. To understand the opportunity here, you need to stop thinking about building a standalone app and start thinking about super apps and ecosystems. So think of it like this. Building a website is like opening a shop on a city street. It's kind of your own space, which is, whatever, it's great or whatever. But building a mobile app today is like opening a boutique inside the world's busiest shopping mall, where nearly 7.5 billion people will be walking by 2025. So enterprise companies know this, which is why they're pouring in an estimated $200 billion into the enterprise mobile app market alone. They're not just building apps, they're building ecosystems where their customers live, work, and shop. That's the idea anyway. So the profitability in mobile is shifting. It's not just about the one-time build anymore. It's about ongoing integration with new tech like augmented reality, AI, and the Internet of Things, all that stuff we already know, which keeps the app valuable over the long term, because it's not the static thing anymore. And by the way, old school companies with their static apps, they're not really being used anymore, are they? So how do you, as a service provider, make this accessible without scaring clients away with a massive upfront price tag? Hey, it's going to take 10 years to make this perfect, and it's going to cost $1 million. That wouldn't really sell, would it? So you productize the entry point. Here's the framework. The MVP, right? So you offer a fixed price package for between $25K and $50K. This delivers a minimum viable product, an MVP, with only the absolute core functionality needed to solve one key problem for the user. The scope is very well defined. No nice to have features, just the essentials for one platform, either iOS or Android. This gets the client into the market quickly and affordably. And then you do feature sprint add-ons. This is where the real long-term profit is. Once the MVP is live and you have some data coming in, you sell post-launch development in a productized block format. So for example, add payment integration for a fixed fee of $5,000, add push notification $3,000, build the Android version $20K. This approach turns one single very big project into a bunch of smaller predictable pieces, and you get a bunch of profitable sales from that, essentially. And this model makes you more than an app builder. You become a long-term digital integration partner. The MVP is just the foot in the door offer. The sustained profit comes from retainers and sprints that keep your client competitive, but also keep you interested in working with them for a longer period of time, because they're building in a whole ecosystem. You've got a killer website and a slick mobile app, great, but they're absolutely useless if no one ever sees them. The next service is traffic. You need traffic. All these apps, all these websites are completely useless if they don't have traffic. That's where a lot of profit is made. I'm talking 40 to 75% profit margins. It's basically media buying agencies. So think about the typical ad agency. They'll work with a dentist on Monday, a roofer on Tuesday, and a software company on Wednesday. They're generalists, and because of that, their processes are inefficient and their results are unpredictable. Now imagine a different kind of agency. This agency only works with high-end cosmetic dentists running ads for dental implants on Facebook and Google. That's it, and they don't do anything else. They've developed a single repeatable implant patient acquisition system. They know the exact ad copy that works, the perfect audience targeting, and the landing page design that converts. Because they are the undisputed expert in that tiny pond, they can charge a premium, their results are predictable, and dentists line up to work with them. That is the power of a niche. Now, this is one way of niching. There's many ways of niching. Client selection is a form of niching, in my opinion. So the rise of AI and ad platforms is actually accelerating this whole trend. As platforms like Google and Meta automate the technical button pushing of campaign management, the value of a generalist media buyer is on the way down. The real value is no longer in knowing how to run an ad, but in deeply understanding who to target and what to say, really understanding the client of your client. That strategic market knowledge is something AI cannot replicate. It is incapable of doing this. And it's why specialization is now a survival strategy. So how do you productize this? You create a niche specific retainer with a non-negotiable scope. Here's the two-step plan. Pick one hyper-specific industry, not local businesses, but HVAC companies that do over $1 million in revenue. Not e-commerce, but Shopify store selling women's athletic underwear, and the narrower the better. So specialization allows you to charge higher fees, close deals faster, and operate with extreme efficiency. Then you create a single irresistible offer. For example, the HVAC Leads Accelerator, a $5,000 per month retainer. The most common retainer size for agencies is under $5K. And for that price, the client gets a guaranteed repeatable system. Then you add creatives tested per month, 2 landing page variations, and weekly campaign management and reporting. The entire process is documented and repeatable and is almost identical between clients, which is exactly how you achieve those incredible up to 75% profit margins. You're not selling ad management, you're selling a predictable pipeline of qualified leads for a specific type of business. That's a product, and it's incredibly profitable, or more specifically, it's a productized service. So we've talked about expensive websites and apps and all that stuff, but what about just normal websites? People still buy normal websites. It's the majority of people buying websites buy normal websites, not super expensive websites. And most freelancers don't know and cannot quickly get to the point where they can offer those very expensive websites. So how do you get there? You sell cheaper websites, which is not necessarily a bad thing. You do need more sales to make the same amount of money though. So most freelancers and agencies turn these clients away, losing their revenue, or they get stuck in a nightmare of endless revisions and scope creep because just because they pay less doesn't mean they want less. There is a third, far more profitable way. Let's look at the model pioneered by companies like DesignJoy. It's often a one-person agency offering unlimited design requests for a single flat monthly fee, often around $5,000 a month. So how is that even possible? Because it's not truly unlimited. It's a queue. They have productized the process. The agency handles one request at a time with a guaranteed 2-day turnaround. The client gets a continuous stream of design without the hassle of new contracts, new freelancers for every little task. This model is not just for small clients. It can work for bigger clients as well. If a business buys a cheaper package first and they see results, they're likely to keep buying more and more expensive stuff. And when they're ready to invest in that $50,000 e-commerce accelerator we talked about, who do you think they're going to call? A new guy, a new agency? The trusted partner who they got started with. These entry-level products are the top of your value ladder, creating a farm system of pre-qualified loyal customers and clients. So here's the actual last offer that you can productize. The brand in a box. This is a one-time fixed fee product or service. For a price like $2,500, the client gets a clearly defined package. A professional logo, the whole brand color thing, typography guide, social media kit, and a 5-page website built on a high-quality platform like Webflow or a Framer using a very nice template. It's not like one of those 20K websites, but it'll still be more than good enough and more than they usually get. The entire process should be standardized, has a fixed scope with, say, 2 revision rounds, and can be completed in under a week. It's fast, efficient, and highly profitable. It's not designed as this 3-month slugfest with the client sending 100 revisions to you. Then the second version of this is the design subscription. This is the monthly retainer model. For a flat fee of, let's say, $4,000 a month, clients can submit unlimited requests for branding or web design tasks like a new landing page, ad creative, social media graphics, which you complete one at a time. This is the perfect solution for growing businesses that have ongoing design needs but aren't ready to hire a full-time designer. Both models eliminate scope creep, streamline your workflow, and provide immense value to a market that is desperate for actual professional, reliable, and affordable design. But all this stuff about what to offer is just a small part of the battle. You can have the best packages in the world, but if you don't have a system to attract a steady stream of clients that want to pay your prices, you're still going to be stuck. The other half of the equation is building a machine that brings those perfect clients to you consistently so you don't have to hire and fire all the time in terms of your staff. so you can spend your time delivering value, not chasing leads. Because this is such a crucial and critical piece of the puzzle, I've made an entire video breaking down the acquisition system that we use in BMI in my program. So check that out in the next video that is right there below this video, and I'll see you in that video right now.